Hey everybody, it's Ian the Kilter crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. Today I'm going to break with the normal card crafting and non-holiday themed cards, and I'm going to jump straight into October and Halloween. So let's put together a fun Halloween card. This came to me from Kira. She sent me the kit to make the little skeleton dude from Art Impressions. It is the first time that I'm testing out an Art Impressions stamp set, so really excited to give that a try for the first time. I like Art Impression stamps because of the silly nature of some of them. They're rather silly and a lot of fun. And if you haven't checked them out before, I highly recommend going to check them out and seeing what they have to offer. So let's break from the summer heat and head into fall and put this card together. Getting started today, I am going to be using this stamp set from Art Impressions. I don't actually have any stamps from Art Impressions. This is the first stamp set that I've had from them, so I'm excited to give this a try. It includes stamps, more than one, dies, and an action wobbler and brads. So there are 13 pieces plus 10 brads in here. So whenever you're looking at it, it only gives you enough for the first one that you do, because it does not include extra action wobblers and other things. The little brads, which are very hard to see. I don't know where to get these, so I'll have to do a little research. And then this is your action wobbler, which I've never used before, so I'm excited to give all these new things a try. We also have the die set here, and it would be nice to keep them all together, except for the fact that this one has to be cut out. So more than likely, I'll probably just cut all of them up and do it that way. So anyways, we have our stamp set as well, which looks really cute, and I'm excited to try it all out. You do have to stamp 2 sets of everything, except for the body, the bow tie, and the hat. You do need 2 of these, 2 arms, and 2 legs. Actually, you may need 4 of these. I need to, let's see. Let's look here. Yeah, so you need 4 of those bones. So you need to stamp it 4 times. You'll need 2 arms and hands and 2 legs. So that's how that all works. Let's go ahead and mount all these onto my Tim Holtz stamp platform and get started. Remember guys, whenever you get new stamp set, you want to condition them by using your hand and just run them, even your arm even, you can just run them across the top just so that way they're not so sticky, and hopefully the ink doesn't bead up on those stamps. I'm going to use some VersaFine ink today since these are finer images. I want to make sure I get a good impression, and that's also why I'm using my Tim Holtz stamp platform, so that way I get a good impression, and if I need to go back and re-ink it, I can. Alright, now that I've gotten everything stamped out as I need to, it's time to go ahead and cut it out. One thing you'll notice about the top hat is it actually has a little slit in it, so that way you can slip it onto his head, and you don't have to worry about getting an X-Acto knife out or worrying about getting it in the right place. It's already thought out for you. This die set also cuts out the little holes that you need to use for the brads. I'm going to use a pair of snips here and go ahead and cut out the dies. Now you can do this, you don't have to have one of these snips. Sometimes it makes it a little easier, but you can actually just bend the metal back and forth, and that also will get it detached from the die set. And I'm having a little difficulty, so I'll be back. Whoop! I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gotten all my pieces set up the way that I need them. The great thing about this die set is you'll notice that there are 2 holes, or 1 hole depending on how many brads are going to be in that part. There's a hole where that brad needs to go, so that way you can see the dots and line them up. So for instance on this one, it can't even see the bone at all, but you can see the 2 little spots where that brad is going to fit through, so you know when it's lined up and when it's good and all that kind of stuff. I'm getting a little flustered trying to talk here, but basically I'm just going to lay this plate down on top and hope that nothing moves, which I don't think it did, and I'm going to put it through the die cut machine. I already know that I'm going to be using this Bow Bunny ink pad. It's a paper pad. So I want to go ahead and cut out the paper that I'm going to use for that. I think this diamond paper will work nicely with this stamp set, so I'll go ahead and try and tear that out, and I'm going to use my Simon Says stamp stitched rectangle die and cut that out. Alright, let's go ahead and put the skeleton dude together. I have my brads right here, and I'm going to go ahead and start putting them through the paper to build my skeleton. I almost said snowman. He's definitely not a snowman. He's a little skeleton. I used Nina Solar White 110 pound cardstock, which I think was actually probably too thick for this project, but I think I should have used probably just regular 60, 80 pound cardstock. It's okay though. Not a huge thing, but it definitely left some marks on the cardstock where the die was, so you can kind of tell where that die shape was. But I also got a little crooked in some spots, but it's, you know, it's a handmade card, so it's gonna have a little imperfection to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the brads through on his arm. There's no instructions on how to put this thing together that I can see. Maybe there are. Does it say small parts not for children? Nope, that's, and this die set's probably not for me. Haha, just kidding. So anyways, I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna open up these brads and put this little skeleton dude together. Alright, there we go. We finally got him put together and loosened the brads up a little bit. I noticed when I was putting him on they were a little too loose or too tight, and so he wasn't able to wiggle around. But now that I've kind of loosened up some of the brads, it's a little easier to move him around. One thing I did notice, you gotta pay attention to what you're doing, because on the legs, they do the legs a little differently than they do the shoulders when they connect to the hips. And I also would not recommend this stamp set and die set if you have mobility issues, if you have problems dealing with tiny objects using your hands and your fingers. You know, I feel like I'm fully bodied, abled, whatever, and it still took me almost 10 minutes to get this all put together. So if you have mobility issues, this is probably not a set for you, unfortunately. You'll also notice, since it is the same stamp and dies, his hands are exactly the same, and then his legs are facing the same direction as well. If I had a reverse stamping tool, I'd be able to flip it around, but it's not a huge deal. It's just something that I noticed as I'm putting it together, is it kind of looks like he's facing one direction, I guess. I guess that's why the eyes are pointed that way too, so I don't know. I also noticed that I forgot to color him and the bow tie and the hat, although he's white, so skeletons are usually white, so it looks fine. A lot of people will do shading and stuff, and if I wanted to, I probably could, but not a big deal. I just don't have, I didn't color his hat, which I may not use for this one. I haven't decided yet. Okie dokie, I have cut some Nina Desert Storm 100 pound cardstock, and I've turned it into a card base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This piece of paper, of course, is 4 1/4 by 11, since you're making a card base for it. So I want to go ahead and glue down my background onto this piece of cardstock, or the card base. As I'm sitting here looking at this, I feel like it's a little plain, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a stamp set here from Sweet Stamp Shop. It's the, which one is this? Speech Bubble, excuse me. And I think I'm going to use the Speech Bubble and make it seem like he's saying shake, rattle, and roll. I think that would work out nicely. I have the coordinating dies somewhere. I'll have to get that in a moment. But I want this shake, rattle, and roll to be inside this little speech bubble. Yeah, I think that'll work. So let's go ahead and stamp this out. I'm once again going to use my VersaFine ink, and I'll just stamp it on wherever. Now a tip, if you want to get your die centered exactly where you want it, you go ahead and make an empty cut of that die or that stamp or whatever you're doing, and then you place it where you want it, and then put this die over that piece, and it fits in like a puzzle piece. You'll know exactly when it's in place, when it doesn't move anymore. And of course I knock it a little bit, but I'm gonna just pop that into place right where it needs to be, and then I can run it through my die machine. Okay, I think I'm finally ready to assemble the whole card together. I've already taped that background onto the cardstock or the card base, so now I think it's time to just go ahead and put it all together. And should probably done it like that, but that's okay, not a big deal. Okay, I kind of have an idea of how I'm going to lay this all out, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my action wobbler and pull off the backing paper for it, like so. And this will go onto the back of my skeleton. I think I'm going to put it right there. Maybe. Alright, so there's my action wobbler placed onto the back of my skeleton, and now you pull off the backing paper for this part, which attaches to the card, I hope. I hope I'm doing this right. I don't know if it's right or not, but I'm gonna go with it either way. Alright, so now I take my little action wobbler and I stick it down onto the card where I want my skeleton. Just like that. Woo! And he dances now. That's fun. Alright, so now it's time. Let's see, I think since he's kind of popped up, should we pop up? Yeah, we should definitely pop that up as well. So I'm gonna grab some of my foam adhesive popper-upper thingies, and we'll just put some across the back. Alright, there we go. So he's all action wobbled up, and his hands keep disappearing behind him. Go back here. There we go. Alright. So if I wanted to, I could pose him and like tighten the brads down so that way they didn't go anywhere. Or I could put like a glue dot or something behind it. But I think it's kind of funny that he's a little wobbly like that. So now he wobbles on the card. Oh, like that. That's fun. Cool. Wanted to bring y'all in a little closer so that way you could see him wobble. Look at that. That's pretty funny. Shake, rattle, and roll. Alright, I just can't leave well enough alone. I remembered that I have these little googly eyes in a drawer, and what better time to use them, right? They're the perfect size for this skull, and makes it even more fun, because who doesn't love googly eyes, right? So I'm going to take some multimedia matte from Ranger, and I'm just going to try and squeeze some out onto the little eyeballs. There we go. And try to put them in the right place. Alright, now he's complete with googly eyes and everything. That's fun. Alright, so there we go. There's the googly-eyed shake, rattle, and roll skeleton. Overall, I think this is a very fun stamp set. I can't help but just sit here and just like wiggle the card, because it's fun having him wiggle along as the card moves around. It's fun. What can I say? It's almost like a fidget spinner. Anyways, lots of fun putting this together, and I have some other great ideas that I can't wait to put together, but I think I'll wait a little bit longer. As we get closer to Halloween for that, we'll make sure to do some more with this guy and see if we can't use him in other unique ways as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and putting today's card together. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know that you like my video, and then hopefully YouTube will then share it across YouTube land. Also, if you're not already, hit that button down below that says subscribe to my YouTube channel, and get great updates every time I post a new video by making sure to click that bell icon next to the subscribe button. That's one of the ways that you'll get to know when I post a new video or when I go live here on YouTube, because most of the time it's kind of a surprise thing whenever I go live. You can also follow me on my social media links. Those are listed down in the description below. Make sure to go check those out. Those include Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and more, so make sure to go check out all those places and get social with me. I hope everybody has a great day. Remember guys, normal's just a setting on your dryer. Bye!